Hey, Miss Bauer back for our video number 4 in this little session about expository text and expository text comprehension. So right now I don't have the PowerPoint in presentation mode because I'm gonna flip around here to a couple different screens. So we already read this article. And now we're going to talk about the type of expository text that we think it is. So we already kind of narrowed it down to compare and contrast or descriptive. So when we read through this, I did not see where it compared and contrasted different types of animals and the way that they sleep. Don't get me wrong, it described ways that different animals sleep, but it didn't, there was no wording like the dolphin sleeps like this, unlike the flamingo, or the lion sleeps much differently than the sea otter. It didn't say anything like that. It wasn't comparing and contrasting them. It was just giving us the information. And so for that reason, I feel like this is definitely a descriptive text. So since it's a descriptive text, let's look at see what we're doing next. So we went through, we did all of this. We looked at, before we read, we looked at the title and the text features. We tried to figure out what it was about. We tried to figure out a little bit about what kind of text it was. And like I said, we only narrowed it down to 2 at that point, but now we can definitely say it's descriptive text. So we talked about what we already knew about animal sleep habits. And we talked about some things that we might want to know or that they might teach us. As we read, we practiced some visualization. So it's hard to do that, but I tried to explain how I was doing it and what I was visualizing as I was reading. And then the last step is to summarize. So summarizing is really what's going to pull everything together and kind of keep it fresh in your mind and let you know that you understood what was happening. So I'm going to switch over to my Microsoft Word screen here for a sec. So I already set up a graphic organizer because this is going to help us organize the information that we're getting. So right in the center is going to be our main topic. So the title of the publication was Animal World, but what was the topic? The topic, or you could do a whole main idea sentence, but I'm just going to write a topic in here. So the topic was the way animals sleep. Okay. And then in each of the detail boxes around the main topic, I used our subheadings as titles for each box. So our first subheading was back sleepers. So I already have a little point there. So let's go back to the article itself. Okay, so what did they say about back sleepers? So they talked about cats. Specifically like after they eat a large meal. And sea otters. Okay, so large cats and sea otters. So let's go back to our graphic organizer and we can say large cats sleep on back after large meal. And then the next little piece of information, sea otters sleep on back in water. I said sea otters. And another little tidbit of information, sea otter babies. Do you remember this piece? Sea otter babies sleep on their backs on top of their mommies. Okay, so we have that little section filled in. And we're going to do the same thing for no shut-eye, a pillow made of feathers, hanging around for a nap, sleeping while standing, and sweet dreams underwater. Okay, so let's go back. No shut-eye. Did you know something else? Open. Fish. So they talk about fish sleeping with their eyes open. So sometimes they float around or wedge themselves in a spot. They are resting, but their eyes are open to stay alert for danger. So there's not a lot of information in this one, but there's enough that we can write a few things in here. So I am going to make the font smaller just so I can fit everything in. Okay, so fish sleep with eyes open. Float around or wedge into mud or coral. What's the other thing they said? Oh, keep alert for danger. Okay, that was easy enough, right? All right. Let me see here. A pillow made of feathers. Sleepy birds. Okay, so flamingos stand. Penguins tuck their beak and huddle together. Take turns moving to the inside of the group. So we might have to go back and forth a couple times to write everything down. So birds tuck their beak under warm feathers. Again, lower the font so I can fit more in there. Birds tuck beak under feathers to sleep. And then they said what? Flamingos sleep standing up. And penguins huddle together for warmth. Rotating the group. To distribute warmth. Basically, that just means so that all of them have a chance to be warm. Okay, so hanging around for a nap. Let's go back. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything in here. Closely. No, I don't think we did. Yep, we read. Okay, so hanging around for a nap. The way you sleep often tells how well your body will rest. Okay, so koalas. Okay, so koalas sleep in trees and have features that keep them from falling. And they sleep 20 hours a day. Okay, so we're gonna drop down here, lower our font again. It's just so that I can fit everything in. Koalas sleep trees. Have special features to keep from falling and sleep 20 hours a day. Let's say eat eucalyptus at night. Okay. 2 more little sections. Sleeping while standing. You'll sleep with standing. Large animals. Okay, so large animals sleep standing up for 2 reasons. So that they don't have to worry about having trouble standing up, and because if they lay down for too long, their weight is too much for them. Pressure from their heavy body may cause breathing problems. Okay, so it's like horses, elephants, and rhinos. Okay, so let's go back here. And sleeping while standing up. Large animals, horses, elephants, rhinos. And we're going to say, so they don't have trouble getting up, and because their weight would cause breathing problems. Okay, and last section here is sweet dreams underwater. Aquatic animals sleep underwater. I thought that was really interesting about manatees. Like, they sleep underwater and then come up to get air. Wow. Okay. The dolphin thing was cool too. Like, they can sleep with half their brain. That's crazy. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, so they said that manatees sleep underwater and come up for air every few minutes. Dolphins sleep half a brain at a time, and dolphins also sleep in circles for protection. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so I have all of the basic information from that article right here in front of me. Okay, so in a lot of cases, for me, this would be enough. But if you really want to make sure that you have it correct, and some of your teachers may assign things like this, you want to write up a summary. So I'm going to start with the tab button so that you have the indent for the paragraph. And I'm not going to write the whole summary, but you're going to start out just like humans, animals sleep in various positions. What else can I say? The animal world. No. Animals choose their sleeping habits out of necessity rather than comfort. Correct? Most of them chose their sleeping habits because of safety and habit and things like that. So, or habitat, sorry, things like that. So that might be how we start our summary. And then we move down, and let's say each of those little boxes, maybe we'd make each of those little boxes a short paragraph or even a sentence. Because remember, it's a summary. We don't want to rewrite the whole article. So here I might look at this and be like, large cats sleep on their back after big meals, while sea otters sleep on their back in the water with their babies on their belly. Bam. So that's one sentence. And actually, when I did it that way, I kind of turned it into a compare and contrast, but it was just easier for me to word it that way to get into one sentence. So let's go back here and I'll show you how I'm going to type this up. So large cats will sleep on their backs after a meal, while sea otters float on their backs with their babies on their bellies in the water. This is one sentence. I summed up that whole section. All right, so this video is gonna end, so I'm gonna let you summarize the rest of it, but that's just a little caption or a little brief understanding of how we're gonna